friends, welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. I'm so happy that you're here with me. So I did decide to film this quick collection video just because I had Duchess out and I don't really like to move her a ton, and Theo was right next to me. So this is Theodore, my snake plant, and this is Duchess, my Christmas cactus. Let me see. Okay, there, you can see her better now. And these guys are my two most valuable, most precious plants in my collection. Theodore, I'm holding Theodore. Sorry, I should have said this before. I'm holding Theodore because he did get repotted and he isn't rooted yet. And so he's just kind of all over the place, and I still have not purchased a stake. Maybe I'll put that in my errands today. Just go out to like the hardware store or something, because it needs to be done. Theodore isn't the only one. Anywho, so these guys are so important to me because they actually came from my grandma. So she had a Christmas cactus and she gave a cutting to my dad. And so I grew up with that Christmas cactus and always getting excited for when it bloomed and really just adoring it. And then I got a cutting from my dad. So I think it's just really cool that this plant has been in my family for 3 generations, and that, you know, we kind of keep passing it along. So my hope is that I will be giving cuttings to my kids and, you know, maybe even my grandkids someday. So that's why she is so important to me. And it's kind of funny talking and just kind of comparing our Christmas cactuses, because, you know, I said earlier when I repotted Duchess that she's kind of strange, and she does like half of her blooms early to mid-November, and then those blooms die off, and then the other half of her blooms around Christmas, New Year's time. And my dad's would bloom really late, but it would bloom all at once. So his tends to bloom a little bit after New Year's, actually. And so unfortunately my grandma doesn't have hers anymore right now. My aunt has it because my grandma had to go into an assisted living facility, and she's no longer capable of caring for it for herself. And then Theodore, my great grandma, so the grandma that I got Duchess from, her mom actually had Theodore, or the original plant that Theodore came from. And once again, my grandma inherited the plant after her mom passed away, and she gave my dad a cutting, and then I got a cutting from my dad's plant. And it's so special to me because when we would, her snake plant was huge, so full, so beautiful. And she lived in a little apartment at the time. And so whenever we would go and visit her over the holidays, because she couldn't fit a Christmas tree in her apartment, we would actually decorate her snake plant. And so we would put lights on and we dangled ornaments from it. And that is just such a precious memory to me. And I just love it. I love it. And so I think once Theodore gets a little bit fuller, I'm gonna start decorating him for the holidays too. It's just that, you know, kind of nice reminder. Yeah, I don't, and so these guys are just, they're so valuable to me because they have such wonderful memories attached to them, but also because they help me stay connected to my grandma. She lives like 6.5 hours away, so I don't get to see her a ton, and it's nice just to have these pieces, you know, of her in my day-to-day life. And yeah, they're awesome. I actually, so I have a funny story about Theodore. So I said that, you know, my grandma's in assisted living right now, and she isn't able to hold a phone up to her ear. She's not strong enough. And so what I do, you know, to keep her in my life, to keep her updated, is I send her letters, you know, every 4 or 5 days. And when I first moved into the house, so that's when I got my cutting, was right before I moved. So when I first moved into this house, one of the first things I told my grandma was that, so I didn't grow up knowing that these were called snake plants or Sansevieria. I grew up to them being called mother-in-law's tongue. And so I wrote to grandma and I told her the exciting news that I now had a cutting of her mother-in-law's tongue. And her eyesight is going bad as well, so she has the nurses read the letters to her. And I guess the nurse read that I had a cutting of her mother-in-law's tongue and thought that it was actually her mother-in-law's tongue, and she got really scared until grandma explained it to her. So that was pretty funny. And now it's just kind of a joke whenever I do go to visit her at her nursing home, is like, hey, how's the mother-in-law's tongue doing? So that's funny, and that brings me joy. That memory brings me joy. But yeah, so these are my babies. I have, just because I've had plants die. It is what it is. But I would be utterly heartbroken if these guys died on me. They're just so special and meaningful. And they definitely, I mean, I love all of my plant babies, but these guys definitely hold a special place in my heart that I wouldn't want them to leave me. So yeah. So we've got Duchess the Christmas Cactus. She blooms pink. Really, really bright, beautiful pink. Hopefully she blooms for me this year. I am a little worried about her not blooming, just because of the stress from the transition of being repotted. But fingers crossed, she'll bloom for me. and I will spam you guys with beautiful Christmas cactus blooms. And Theodore, my snake plant. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me on this quick little video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I love talking about these guys, so I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoy sharing their meaning with others. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.